This is a question, and it says, as you know, there are thousands of 14-year-old girls in the Western world declaring themselves to be boys. My own child is one of them. And that's a question from Alexandra.
I wrote 5 tips to mothers and fathers of kids that are questioning their own sex or gender. First tip is remembering that I'm not a therapist, I'm a journalist and I'm a researcher. I researched this subject since 2013. And these tips I wrote, of course, I've listened to many fathers, many mothers, many researchers and radical feminists and gender critical therapists. My first tip would be refuse to lie. Mothers and fathers that did not comply, that did not collude, that did not lie that their boys are girls and their girls are boys, they had, best outcomes, really best outcomes. So I know it's very hard, it's very, very hard, but do not authorize any kind of medical intervention, do not authorize the use of binders, do not change pronouns, do not change the names. Maybe you could agree with a nickname, like some kind of nickname, even a weird one or an ambiguous one, but not a name from the opposite sex, because this would be colluding. So I know it's hard, but this would be my first tip, our first tip, because this is a tip of many parents. My second tip is support homosexuality, bisexuality, and gender non-conformity. I know many of us would like to see ourselves as very progressive, but in fact, most part of heterosexual people are not really understand how horrible is homophobia and lesbophobia. So maybe these parents maybe they think they are progressive, but they are showing, even without words, that they wouldn't really like to have a gay son or a lesbian daughter. Plus, many of them, they might have this idea of pornified lesbian. So they think, oh, that's okay, you be a lesbian, but you do not have to look like a guy. So this is my second tip. I mean, really support and be very, very clear that you're gonna love your kid with any kind of sexual orientation, with any clothes, with any kind of hair, okay? My third tip is investigate underlying issues. Plus homosexuality and bisexuality and being gender nonconformity, there are plenty of questions, plenty of problems, many issues that could be contributing to this idea of this mismatch, contributing with gender dysphoria, contributing to this problem. There are various studies showing this, autism, anorexia, and many other kinds of disorders, and even schizophrenia, and which is very sad because schizophrenia might appear only after 21, and with 21, many kids already had some irreversible changes, physical changes from transgender medicine. So investigate underlying issues. Some of these issues you can talk to your own daughter or your own brother home. You do not have to take them to therapists to everything. Like I've been talking to a Brazilian mother that told me that her kid with 12 was questioning that she was really a boy. And then after talking, she said, oh, maybe it's a coincidence, but 2 weeks ago, she had her first period. I said, how can you think this is a coincidence? I mean, so there are some talks that even regular mothers can have with their own girls, okay? And sexual harassment in the streets. I mean, like, it's very, unfortunately, but it's very natural. You hate your own boobs when yesterday you were like a 10 years girls and now you are a 12 years girl with boobs, and men are talking to you in the street saying all kind of horrible things. I mean, in Brazil, it's very common. It's a very sexist country. So, and that some underlying issues, you might talk to them on your own home, but there are other issues. You might take them to see a professional. So this leads us to the fourth tip, which is refuse gender clinics, refuse what we say in Brazil, ambulatórios de identidade de gênero, but you know, it's the same. Refuse them. Do not take your kids there. Do not take these kids to that guy or woman that LGBTQ organizations told you they are fine. Do not go to these people, even when they are well-intentioned, even when they seem very trustable and very bright and very clever. Because the thing is, this model itself is wrong. This model proves itself being wrong. If you've people read Gender Hurt by Sheila Jeffreys, this book, it talks about all this history of transgender medicine. And of course, other issues in trans activism, but it says about the history of transgender medicine. And this model is hurting these people too, others too. On the past days, I wrote an article in Portuguese, of course, about trans suicides. And I found out 2 articles, in fact, 2 studies, 2 long-term studies about what happened with adults after transition, after the surgeries, after hormones, and the outcomes are horrible. I mean, they're suicidal, they commit crimes, they have plenty of mental disorders, they did not heal themselves, and they now, where they may go, I mean, they did everything they could on their bodies. So it's very sad. This model has to be destroyed. So do not take our kids to these places. And 5 and last tip is educate yourself and your kid. I know trans activists are always saying, educate yourself, but we are going to educate ourselves on the right way. And you, English people, English spoken people, you are very, very lucky because there's plenty of materials to you. You know, you have all these works of Sheila Jeffreys, you have the work of Janice Raymond, you have Fourth Wave Now, you have Transgender Trends, you have lots of gender critical profiles on Twitter. So on this way, you are lucky. And I do not know if this mother, Alexandra, sees herself as a radical feminist or not, but radical feminist may be very, very useful for you and your girl.